On the subject of propaganda, the almost comical dismantling global Hindutva event took place very recently. Who are these people? Who are the organizers? And what are they trying to achieve?
No, I think this question, the question that you have raised is a very common way in which this question gets raised in certain circles. And I do not want to take that question the way that you have framed it. I want to go a little bit to the background of it. Now, at any given point in time, in last 200 years, probably 300 years, see, there is initially you have the kind of picturization of India, an image of India, which emerged in the European understanding of how they have experienced, how they thought about it. Now, they spoke about it, which was very uncomfortable to people who are part of India. It didn't match with the way they lived. And now it eventually, India, and then it got translated at a later part into something which is anything which is Hindu. So the criticism of India, which became really part of this. And the third, later now, from 1970 onwards, now for this list, mega list, you have addition of organizations, not necessarily RSS and Parivar, but a whole range of organizations which are interested in both India and Hindu, the people of India, Indian culture. They are clubbed into one group, and there are groups which actually go on target and speak in a particular way, which considered very offensive, derogatory for people in India. It doesn't sort of tell anything. It is not about knowledge about us. It looks like there is a hatred, and therefore there's a story that this asymmetric relationship of what we do and how we get narrated by the European descriptions has been a cause of concern for at least 2 centuries now, where people have been reacting to this kind of picturization. Now, in this, one of the important things that they say is that there is a conspiracy to defame Hinduism, etc. And there is an element of truth in it, which I am not going to deny. But the larger question is not about conspiracy or agenda. Now, one must really recognize that there is a particular way in which the people of India and the practices of India have been framed over a period of time. And it has a 3-century history. There is a heavy pile of material which has been thought, reflected. And this was the experience of Europe. Because when they came in Europe, they didn't come as social scientists to study India. They came here, as traders. They came here as part of the colonial bureaucracy. They came here as travelers, different levels of administrators who came. They were also scholars like German Indologists, and there are a lot of Sanskritists and a lot of other people came. They were interested in India. They wanted to really learn and know about India. And they understood India in their experiential background. Europe has a particular way. For instance, when they came to India, Europe, it was a familiar experience in Europe to have their religion. They came and they searched for religion for 2 centuries in India. With great difficulty, they made one Hindu religion, and then there was a difficulty. They have to create one Buddhist religion, and then they have to create a Jain religion, all kind of stories. So more or less the picture of India was built in the backdrop of the image that they had, their experience of the world. So in the same way, for example, all the religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, for instance, have their scriptures, holy books. So they came, and if you read the colonial archives, you would realize that there is an extraordinary attempt to go and find the scriptures of Hindus, scriptures of Jaina, which was not there. So we also use this word scripture, but we don't understand what does that mean. So in religion, these things are essential component they were searching. Right. In that way, they built an image. In that image, so this image has been very deep rooted, and it survives for 300 years. Now, there is a structure of thinking that is evolved over a period of time. No matter whether one university supports something or not, this has gone into development of what we call social sciences today. The sociology, political science, anthropology, all the disciplines that we have today, they emerged in the Christian culture. When they were built in India, they took the feedback of the previously established material. So therefore you have Aryan invasion theories there, you have particular way of comparative linguistics, what kind of society it is. All these stories basically were fundamentally derived out of European experience of India. They were not scientific truths of this world. Therefore, the social sciences are horrible sciences. But now what happens today is that as it grows, now the Indian people, after they started getting educated, there is a Indian freedom movement. That time there are a lot of people responding back to the discomforts of these kind of images. And the second enemy began, which started challenging this. Earlier it was India, which was a false religion for Christians. It is the idolatry of the people. These are corrupt people. Now, this image continued and became part of that's why you have, Indians are corrupt, and then Asiatic mode of production, the stagnant Indian society, nothing happens here. Now, all kinds of images which are part of the understanding of the Western culture, Christian culture, because this is a false religion. So therefore, there is also hatred towards this false religion. And they really genuinely wanted to bring them to true God. And they were trying to find out. And that became really a charge, eventually by 20th century, a criticism against the Hinduism. Because they really created this Hinduism. Right. There was an attempt to figure out, and there is a charge. Because Hinduism, though religion, but it is false. So yes. Therefore, there is a problem. Now, because this is deviation from what true God wanted them to follow. So this is the seduction from the devil. So they have been deviated. These people wanted to really search for true God, and some of this priestly class, Brahmins, etc., and came and deviated all these masses, and really shifted them from the path of the true God. Now, these themes that I'm telling you, if you read 19th century colonial writing, even the discussion on Aryan invasion theory, comparative linguistics, but fundamentally they started with this biblical theological ideas which were there, and it became secular. It took a secular form by the beginning of the 20th century, and now anything which opposes this structure, is considered enemy, because anyway it is expression of the false religion. But at least in case of missionaries, it was very clear that they were explicitly targeting the false religious people, and they wanted to convert. Here there are no missionaries. Now there is a structure. Earlier it was Westerners who was actually doing it. Now Indians have taken up the position of this missionary, and a large amount of social science actually is rehashing of some of these fundamental ideas of Christianity. Therefore, this criticism of Hindutva, and it has to be dismantled, it has to be eradicated, comes from this idea. Hindutva emerges from Hinduism, and Hinduism is a religion, which is a false, but it is a attitude which has been transmitted in secular way. Right. Therefore, the Hindutvas are defenders of this, all false practices, idolatry of the human being. So therefore, it has to be dismantled. This is some kind of a background. Therefore, instead of looking at conspiracy, this is how the social scientific disciplines actually functions. Right. Now, it is just that the dismantling Hindutva took a prominent shape because it was part of a Western university. You walk in, Sharan, in India, in any university, every day there will be a conference on human rights, there will be a conference on something or the other. Nobody comes and actually discuss what is human rights, how it is affecting the life of human beings. If you actually take the discussion, whether you agree or disagree, one could really contribute to the growth of knowledge. But you go to these conferences, the only thing that you understand is to dismantle and demolish everything that has been done. If you want to really know, you should look at the reporting that was done during the COVID-19 period, how India was portrayed. What are the issues that were taken? Right. And did they really compare it globally? If you look at it, all this hatred that you have gets reflected in terms of how Corona was reported both in India and specifically outside India, how they spoke about it.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.